This is the Hello World Podcast.
If you're still using templates, it's time to get out of sales. Go do something else. Templates are gone, man. It's over. Yeah, it just doesn't work.
So what can a sales manager now do? The company would say adhere to scripts. What's a practical tip there?
Well, I think my answer is get rid of the scripts. But let's go back to a component of what you just said. So I don't know whether you remember, but back in the older days, you're much younger than I am, but salespeople used to talk about the elevator pitch. So you would walk into an elevator, talk to this one person there, and they would ask, "What do you do?" And you had between floors, 45 seconds to answer that. Now, that sounds like something very simple. In fact, it's unbelievably difficult to concisely, succinctly say what you do in 45 seconds. So now let's move that forward. So now I'm a salesperson, and so I have to decide, okay, which industry am I in? Am I selling to finance? Am I selling to F&B? Am I selling to media? Okay. They all have their own individual problems. At what level am I selling? Am I selling to a VP of HR, a CFO, a CEO? They all have individual problems, right? And so now you're starting to see all this huge intertwining of links. And now you need to, because of our current situation, you need to generally say, okay, it's a CFO at an F&B company in the Philippines. Now, how are they doing in the Philippines? What would the typical problems be? And of that, and then you need to validate whether, in fact, there's a chance that particular CEO or CFO in that particular F&B company would be experiencing some version of those problems. And then you would build a script around that. Most salespeople don't want to do that because that takes time. And so they still want to do I talked about this, someone mentioned it to me yesterday, the spray and pray approach. I'll send out 1,000 emails.
I like that.
I'll spray out 1,000 emails and pray that one guy responds. I mean, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And you lose the same amount of time at the back end. So you may as well spend that time at the front end and really get to understand the individual you're trying to get to. And at least if you do that and they say no, you've done it intelligently. And this has happened so many times. That person may well remember that approach that he said no to now and come back to you in a year or 6 months or 9 months' time later saying, you know what, there was this guy who reached out to me. I rejected him, but he was one of those rare salespeople who reached out to me in an intelligent, empathetic way. So there's no downside to doing it. That's, you drop, spray and pray, do your homework. And I think this leads to another very, very important point. The world has changed a great deal. If what you're doing as a salesperson is selling product, you're in the wrong business. We're not in the business of selling product. We're in the business of solving problems. I dare say that there are a lot of salespeople talking to prospects where the prospect actually knows more about the product than the salesperson does. Prospects actually, this is a shock to people, go out and do research. The internet has allowed them to do research. They know your company. They've read about it. They know about your product suite. Your job's not as so much to sell the product. They've read about the product. What they want to know is how does that product help them in their particular business in this current economic and social environment. And that's your value add. If you're still pushing a product, it's not going to happen. You've now got a very smart, intelligent audience. I'll tell you a little story, just going back to what we were talking about earlier. I was on a joint phone call with some partners of mine, and we were talking to a large organization about them becoming a partner of ours. And their opening statement was, I tell you what, why don't you tell us what you know about us and our business model, and that can help create the foundation for a discussion. Now you're in trouble. If you haven't done your research, everything you've planned for this 1 hour phone call has gone down the toilet, because their opening gambit is, you tell us what we do. We'd like to know what you know about us. Wow. I mean, it took everybody by shock. Now, fortunately, we knew something about them, but there was a lesson. You know, don't go into any call like that cold, because people just don't have the time. They want to deal with people who have made the effort.
Hi, this is Louis Banta, CEO and Chief Consultant of LJMB, or Learning Just Made Better. Thanks for watching my video. To get more videos like this, click subscribe and hit the bell icon below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment down below, and share this to others.